You have heard this name your whole life. On the news, in headlines, in a history class, 4 letters, and almost no one has ever told you where it comes from. Scholars still argue about it. Some trace it to an old Persian word for the lowlands, some to an Arabic root meaning deeply rooted, well-watered, fertile. But the oldest thread of all leads back to a single broken word in the dust. Uruk, the name of the first city human beings ever built. The name of the first world. 2 rivers come down out of the northern mountains, the Tigris and the Euphrates. They run side by side across a flat baking plain toward the Persian Gulf, and between them, they lay down something rare in this part of the world: mud. Soft, black, endlessly fertile mud. The Greeks gave the land caught between them a name: Mesopotamia, the land between the rivers. It should have been paradise. It wasn't, not for free. The rivers flooded without warning and without mercy. To live here, you had to tame the water, dig canals, raise banks, agree on who got the flow and when. And the moment people cooperated to control a river, they stopped being villages. They became something new. The first of these was Uruk. 5,000 years ago, while most of humanity still lived in scattered huts, Uruk held tens of thousands of people behind a wall 6 miles long. As far as we know, it was the largest city on Earth, and the first true city anywhere. A city needs to keep records. Someone in Uruk took a sharpened reed, pressed it into wet clay, and made a mark to count sacks of grain. That mark became a system. We call it cuneiform, the oldest writing on Earth. Stop and feel the weight of that. The first sentence ever written by a human being was written here. The first name, the first lie, the first love letter. History itself, the line between before writing and after, begins in this mud. And once people could write, they wrote a story, the Epic of Gilgamesh, a king of Uruk who goes searching for the secret of eternal life and comes home empty-handed, having learned that being mortal is the price of being human. It is the oldest great work of literature we possess. We were telling that story 4,000 years before Shakespeare was born. The list of firsts from this one stretch of riverbank is almost unfair. The wheel, the plow, the sailboat, irrigation, the first schools, the first libraries. They split the circle into 360 degrees and counted in 60s, which is the reason, right now, that there are 60 seconds in your minute and 60 minutes in your hour. Every time you check the clock, you are using a system invented on the banks of the Euphrates. And then, around 3,700 years ago, a king of Babylon named Hammurabi did something that still governs your life. He carved the law into stone, in public, where everyone could see it, so that the strong could not simply do as they pleased. Earlier kings had written laws before him. His became the most famous. An eye for an eye comes from this stone. The very idea that the rules should be written down, fixed, and the same for everyone. That idea was born here. Here is the turn. Once one corner of the world had invented the city, the surplus, the written word, it had also invented a prize, wealth worth taking. The first man to take it on a grand scale was Sargon of Akkad, who around 2300 BCE bolted city after city together into the first empire in human history, the template every emperor since has followed, knowingly or not. After him, the prize passed from hand to hand for 2,000 years. Babylon rose, gleaming in glazed blue. The Assyrians made war into a science and ruled from Nineveh, where a king named Ashurbanipal assembled the first great library on earth. The very place where the buried, half-burned tablets of Gilgamesh would wait 25 centuries to be found again. And Babylon rose once more under Nebuchadnezzar, who is said to have built a garden in the sky for a homesick queen. The Hanging Gardens one of the seven wonders of the ancient world. A wonder so famous, we are still not certain it ever existed. That is what this land did to people. It made them build legends. Look at where it sits, between the rivers, between the mountains and the Gulf, between Asia and the Mediterranean. Everything moving east to west had to pass through. For most of recorded history, this was not a corner of the world. It was the center of it. The Persians took it. In 539 BCE, Babylon fell to Cyrus the Great, and Mesopotamia became the rich heart of the largest empire the world had yet seen. And then came the most famous conqueror who ever lived. Alexander of Macedon marched out of Greece, shattered the Persian Empire, reached Babylon, and decided that this, of all the cities on earth he had taken, would be the capital of his new world. He never got the chance. In Babylon, at 32 years old, master of the known world, Alexander took a fever and died, in the oldest city of all. The man who conquered everything ended in the place where it all began. You would think a land could only be born once. This one was born again. In the year 762, a new power, the Abbasid caliphs, chose a spot on the Tigris and built a perfect circle of a city. They called it Baghdad. Within 50 years, it may have been the largest city on the planet, and almost certainly the richest. Paved streets, hospitals, running water, a postal service. And at its heart, something the world had never seen at that scale. A house built for knowledge itself. Scholars set out to gather and translate every book worth having. Greek, Persian, Indian, and then to push past them. Here a mathematician named Al-Khwarizmi wrote the book that gives us the word algebra, and whose own name, worn down through Latin, gives us the word algorithm. While much of Europe had forgotten the ancient Greeks, Baghdad was keeping them alive and adding to them. For 500 years, the center of the world was, once again, exactly where it had always been. And then, in the winter of 1258, the horizon filled with dust. A grandson of Genghis Khan, a commander named Hulagu, came down on Baghdad with one of the largest armies the region had ever seen. The city held for days, then it broke. What happened next, the chroniclers struggled to describe. The great libraries, centuries of mathematics, medicine, astronomy, poetry, were emptied into the Tigris. There were so many books, it was said, that the river ran black with their ink for days, and red beside it. The last caliph was killed. By some accounts, hundreds of thousands of people died. The Golden Age did not fade. It was thrown into a river. And the city that had been the center of the world for most of human memory would never be the center of anything again. If you dig anywhere in this land, you do not find ground. You find cities. A layer of mud brick, and beneath it another, and beneath that another. Babylon on top of Akkad on top of Sumer, each ruin becoming the foundation the next was built on. Conqueror after conqueror burned this place down, and every time it became the dirt the next world stood on. We call it the cradle of civilization, and we say it lightly, but it is not a metaphor. The first city, the first word, the first law, the first story about what it means to be a human being who knows they will die. All of it began on one narrow strip of mud between two rivers, a place that gave the world almost everything, and has spent 5,000 years being fought over for it. You knew the name, now you know what it carries. It didn't just live through history, it invented it.